Yeah. Legend Z. It's time to let you go. Why keep holding on? It's been a month, baby. Your true color shown. I'm not mad and no longer will I hide. I just gotta move forward, push the shit to the side. Welcome back to your Daily Dose. I'm your host, Alize Mills, and this is the Daily Dose Show, where you already know we be doing the most. Now, before we get into today's topic, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the bell notification so you can hear a ding every time my videos pop up on your phone, whatever the case is, if you would like to see any more of my videos. You can go ahead and also follow me on Twitter at Alize_Mills, that's ALIZE_Mills, MILLS. Also add me on my Facebook at Alize Mills. And if you would like to see any of my latest videos, you can follow me on TikTok at Zellum15, and also follow me on my professional Instagram at Alize.mills.1. That's Zae Nation, ZAE Nation. If you have any personal questions or any comments that you would like to share with me, or any collaborations that you would like to do with me, email me at AlizeMills6@gmail.com. Once again, that's AlizeMills6@gmail.com. Now, before we get into today's topic, I want to clarify, I want to be very, very clear on this, because one, people don't listen. Two, people don't listen. I am not a manifesting coach. So what I am going to say, these are things that I've researched and I've been, applying them in my everyday life. Okay? And this is something that I just wanted to talk about. So I'm not a manifesting coach. Do not email me asking me any questions or thinking I'm a manifesting coach, because I'm not. All right? So let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is, what is the law of assumption, right? So what is the law of assumption? The law of assumption, the world that you see depends not so much as what is there, which is in front of you, but the assumptions you make of it. What that means is that what you see in front of you is only your current circumstances. What you see in front of you is temporary. It's not forever. So you have the ability to change that. Okay? Now, why is this important? This is important because you yourself is what makes and creates your reality. Our thoughts are the most powerfulest thing. As Martin Luther King said, was it Martin Luther King or Albert Einstein? I believe Albert Einstein said, and I think this is why Albert Einstein said this, imagination is more important than knowledge. I think that's one of his quotes, right? And the reason I believe that that's true is because your imagination is what creates your reality. Your imagination is what creates the experiences and the things, your circumstances that are around you at this very moment, right? And I really feel that is true. I honestly do feel that's true. I'm starting to understand why he said it. In my perspective, of course, I may be wrong, but that's just only opinion based. So our thoughts are very powerful. Our brain is like a gun. It's the gun. The thoughts are the trigger, right? So what we put in our brain, what we are feeding our subconscious, what we are feeding our conscious mind, is going to be the trigger to our emotions, our feelings, our habits, our behaviors, and our actions. And see, that's something that is really important, because when you're using this law, as Neville Goddard said, believe in the reality that is imagined, because what you imagine is real, right? A lot of people have used this example. Close your eyes and imagine yourself on top of a skyscraper building or something, and you're leaning forward. It feels real. And I remember in my last video when I was talking about Randy Taryn, the mind is easy to trick. You can trick your mind. but you cannot trick your body. But that's, something different. But that is true. You can easily trick the mind, because when you start to use repetition and you start to repeat something, which we're going to talk about, affirmations, that's where affirmations come in. For example, when you're saying I am rich and you keep saying that all day, all day, all day, don't you believe that over time it's going to be suppressed into the subconscious, and you're going to start to not only believe that you're rich and look at the circumstances that are around you, but you're going to start feeling like your money. You're going to start smelling like your money. People are going to be like, hey, bro, you smell like money. Wow, you smell like money. Now, I do want to say this. I know you might be saying, Alize, why should we be listening to you? You're not a manifesting coach. You're not nah. I don't have to be a manifesting coach in order to research and find out something and learn about it and actually apply it in my everyday life. I don't. I really don't. Okay? And I'm not saying listen to me. I don't give a damn whether you listen to me or not. Okay? But at the end of the day, I am saying this is what I am, I apply this in my everyday life. So I have used the law of assumption 3 times. I've used the law of assumption to lose weight. You could go and see that in my success stories on one of my playlists. It's called Success Stories, when I applied the law of assumption. I applied the law of assumption for not owing taxes back, but for them owing me money, and it actually came true. Yes, it did. And I also applied the law of assumption to pass my permit test. So honestly, what I want to say is, I'm not going to go into what happened. Just go watch the stories. But anyway, what I do want to say is our thoughts do create, and it's very important to remember that our imagination is God. And I remember Neville Goddard saying, this is something that was very powerful. I want to go into this. Change your view on the world. God and you are one. Having faith in God, which is you, anything can be done. Ooh, I like that. That rhymed. Okay, anyway, getting back into it. Those drawn into him must believe he exists. Faith is the assurance of things not seen. Enact a scene that is not real. If we believe he hears, it can be externalized. Believe in the power of God. That is you. And then I wrote down, I am God at the bottom. Now, I know what you may be saying, aside from my crappy ass handwriting, which you're probably talking mess about at this moment. However, what you might be saying is, what does that mean? Oh my God. Now, our imagination is God. That's true, because our imagination is what's creating our reality. And see, it took me a long time. I didn't start understanding or getting into Neville Goddard until probably, I think it was last year, or 2019, the ending of 2019, or last year. But I didn't start reading more and starting to understanding the law of assumption. I've heard of the law of attraction, but one thing I do want to also say before I get into this, I never heard Neville Goddard say anything about the law of attraction. I just wanted to say that because I've never heard him say anything about that. But I have heard of the law of attraction. But anyway, going back into the law of assumption. If we assume something, and we assume it so much, and we use repetition, we use affirmations, or we're subconsciously assuming something, or we're subconsciously visualizing something, or whatever is going on throughout the day, whatever is going on throughout our minds, then that's going to be creating the things that are around us. Now, one thing I will say is that the reason this is important is because it's important for you, and it's important for all of us, the rest of us, to actually see that yes, we are gods and goddesses, and we can control the things that are around us in our reality and these things that we experience. I do have a video breaking down the subconscious and how the subconscious, your beliefs are manifesting the experiences in your life, into your life. So you go ahead and watch that. I'm not going to break that down in this video. So anyway, we do have the ability to control what is around us. And I never really thought about that because, let's be real, a lot of us don't really think about stuff like this. But the thing is, manifestation has been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, okay? This isn't something that is just new, right? So now many people don't actually get that everybody manifests in a different way. And everyone applies many laws, because there's many laws out there, guys. It's not just only this one law that you just no, there's many laws out there. But at the same time, it's really how you do it. It's how you use it. It's how you apply it. So I apply the law of assumption, and it does work for me. It does. But I do want to go back onto why I want to go back onto why Neville said imagination is God. I feel like the things that we think on an everyday basis is what's not just only creating our reality, but it's also what's creating who we are. It's also defining the kind of person that we are. How some people will say your self-conception is the most important thing for manifesting a specific person or whatever. I want to say, don't use self-conception to just sit here and manifest your specific person. Use self-conception and self-love to love yourself. I'm on the journey of loving myself, right? And I can say I'm honestly falling in love with myself every single day. Why? Because I'm actually journaling, I'm talking to myself, and I'm getting in touch with my inner child. I'm not here to tell you that you have to get in touch with your inner child to do any of those things or to manifest. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that self-love is very important to me. And I feel me loving myself, how can I love another person if I don't love me, right? Exactly. Or how can someone else love me if I can't even begin to love myself first? If you expect me to reflect love back to you, but you don't even reflect the same love back to yourself. Now, a lot of people will tell you, or you've heard, argue with your thoughts. Don't argue with your thoughts. That is the biggest mistake you can ever do. Do not ever argue with yourself. You be compassionate, self-compassionate, and you show patience. You have patience with yourself. I used to talk to myself crazy. I used to call myself the B word. I used to say you're dumb, you're stupid, Alize, you're this and that, and not realizing that, okay, but if I had a certain specific person that I wanted to manifest, or the person I love that's in front of me, am I going to be talking to them like that? Bitch, you dumb as fuck, like, like, you can't even do this right. Am I going to be talking to them like, no? So why would I do that? And this is something I wanted to tell you guys. When you're affirming and you're applying this law, using the law of assumption, understand that Neville's not only just talking about, yes, imagination is God, yes, you have to have faith in the unseen, but you also have to remember that your thoughts do create, right? Yes. So what you assume is naturally going to manifest. It may not manifest right then and there, but it may take some time, but it will still manifest. Yes, these things are true. Absolutely. Facts. So what I will say is that when you're on these mental diets and understanding, don't just sit here and affirm because you want to just manifest something. I don't affirm because I want to manifest something. I affirm because I want to rewire my brain, okay? I look back at Dr. Emmett Fox, and I was reading, like, when these opposing thoughts would come in my mind, I wrote down certain things from that specific article, and it said, I'm consciously aware of my thoughts. My thoughts do not control me. I control my thoughts. I'm slowly rewiring my brain every day. When you are using these affirmations and you are applying the law of assumption, because you do have to affirm, but don't just only think that affirming is just going to only do it. Also, do something that will also make you feel good, because a lot of people do obsess over their desire, and 9 times out of 10, when you're obsessing over your desire, you are creating resistance, because you are not only obsessing over it, but you are resisting it, and you are not realizing that that resistance is going to prolong the manifestation. And the reason I'm saying these things is because this is true. I have obsessed over my desires, and what the hell has it done? Yes, it prolonged my manifestation, and I was just like, ugh, I'm obsessing over it 24/7. You don't just only want, it's nothing wrong with thinking about your desire. I'm not saying don't think about it. I'm not saying don't dwell in it. But when you are applying the law of assumption and you are using affirmations, you must understand that when you are doing this, you're rewiring your brain. You're rewiring your thought process. Because before, when you were younger, there were certain thoughts that were put into your mind subconsciously that is the cause of your experiences and the cause of your actions, feelings, and behaviors as of today. This is true. Yes. Because Subconsciously, how we were programmed when we were children are the reason of how we act today as adults. So one thing you must understand and realize when you're applying the law of assumption, it is very important that when you're assuming something negative for so long, it's going to manifest. When you're assuming something positive, it's going to manifest. It doesn't matter. Either way, the law of assumption is working for you in the negative and in the positive. If you assume someone hates you for the longest and you're continuing to put that into your head, subconsciously it's going to suppress on the subconscious. The subconscious is unaware. That is the 95%. The conscious is aware. That is the 5 to 10%. They say 5, I think it's 10%. They also talk about the preconscious, but we're not talking about that. So anyway, like I was saying, the subconscious is unaware of what you're saying. So 9 times out of 10, does the subconscious know what's good or bad? Does it? I don't believe it does, because it's unaware. So remember that, like I said, everyone manifests in a different way. And for me, when I'm understanding the law of assumption, is the way I understand it. Yes, I do believe that affirmations is something that's true, but I don't just only affirm. I affirm, I script, I visualize, and I do enact small scenes. But me personally, let me tell you this, you don't have to do everything the Neville Goddard way. You don't have to do everything everything any other coach is telling you. I'm not bashing any coaches. No, but what I'm saying is try to apply it yourself. When you continue to listen, like Neville said, you have to be the doer, meaning that you have to act, you have to do it in order for you to even believe that it can happen, okay? And remember, as he did say, if you believe yourself because you are God, you are a goddess, meaning that you are in control of your reality. You are. You have that right. So if you believe that what you want can manifest, you do not listen to everybody else that is around you. You do not listen to John Doe down the street, baby. You do not listen to Jane Berry knocking at your door 24/7 asking for sugar and cookies. That's not, no. And she's saying your manifestation's not gonna come true because nah. When you have the uttermost faith, and let me tell you something, you don't even have to have that much faith to believe that it's gonna manifest. It's not like you have to have this whole full the faith. And when you're assuming, let me say this, because my thing is, when I started to actually understand the law of assumption, I started to realize that, wow, I can assume something positive and it can honestly manifest. Let me tell you something, what I did with my specific person. I assumed, and I was affirming this. I said, nobody wants her. No one wants her. Nobody. And it manifested. Nobody wants her. So I'm not saying that's a good thing to do, but if any of you have a specific person and you don't want nobody out there trying to get at your specific person, or they trying to talk to your man or talk to your woman, the daily dose of Alizé has helped you, boo-boo. So anyway, moving on. But really, your thoughts do create. And I think also when I was going into living in the assumption as well. We want to talk about living in the assumption when Neville talks about living in the end. He says, with God, all things are possible. Internal body of man equals imagination. Reason denies it, senses deny it. Meaning that when you're reasoning, of course there's going to be an opposing thought that's going to tell you that this is not going to happen. Of course there's going to be people that are going to tell you this isn't going to happen. Of course there's going to be things around you that are going to show you this ain't going to happen. But assume that it is true and it shall happen. You have to just live in the assumption that it's true, right? Let me tell you something. For me personally, I used to focus a lot on signs, and I used to focus a lot on looking for signs or looking for, oh my God, this sign says that, no. I don't give a damn about signs. I don't focus on them. I don't acknowledge them. It just doesn't matter to me, because to me it's just a sign. And Neville Goddard always lived in the assumption that everything that he desired was done. He lived in that assumption and he persisted in it. He never allowed the reality that he was in or his current circumstances to tell him no, because he said, no. This is what's real. What's real is what's in my mind. And see, that's, I think, really going back to what Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge, because your imagination is what creates your knowledge. Wow. Your imagination is what creates your knowledge. Like, for example, if you're the kind of person that wants to obtain more knowledge, I am obtaining more knowledge, or I am constantly gaining knowledge. I am a knowledgeable person. Affirming that, you will start to believe it, right? It'll suppress upon your subconscious. And next thing you know, I'm not saying you're going to wake up knowing goddamn everything, but shit, who knows? You might, baby, shit. But you will want to research new things. You will want to get new ideas. New ideas will start to come to you for anything that you're doing. Maybe that's what it really meant. You know, in my perspective, of course. Everyone is me pushed out. No evidence. Believe it in. I've received it. Believe it in. When he says everyone is you pushed out, meaning that if you use that word, that means that people around you are reflecting exactly the energy that you are externalizing into your reality. Meaning that if you're externalizing that you have a bad self, you don't love yourself, or you view yourself in a negative way, your self-conception, your self-value, your self-worth, that is going to be reflected back to you. If you think about rejection, like for example, when I talked about how I had the fear of abandonment, I have experienced a lot of people abandoning me and a lot of people leaving me, and the fear of rejection, because for so long I have had this suppressed upon my subconscious, and this created and manifested a belief into my reality. And next thing I know, I started to get people that rejected me each and every time. I was never chosen and all of these things. But this was not now, baby. Not now. So anyway, when he says believe it in, meaning to believe in it regardless. And I believe that's when Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now was a breakdown of Neville and what he was talking about when he talked about probably the law of assumption, living in the in. Like when he says living in the present moment, I feel like to me that can also be tied into living in the in, because when you're living in the present moment, no, not living in the in. When you are visualizing something, an old friend of mine told me this. When you are visualizing something and you want it to really be real, right? And you want to bring all the real tones of reality, like Neville said. You want to bring all the real tones of reality, the smell, the touch, the feeling, the taste. You want to bring all the real tones of reality into it. When Eckhart Tolle was talking about living in the present moment, meaning when you're feeling, people don't take the time to really smell the roses because they're not living in the now. They're living too much for tomorrow, or their mind is too focused on the past, because you're not living in the now. So you can't really smell the real. You don't know how the roses smell, because you want to be able to bring that into the tones of when you're visualizing, because when you're living in now and you're listening, like even he says, with the noises all around, like you guys could probably hear the fan in the back, there's still silence in between. So when we take the time to live in the present moment, I feel like that's how we can actually be able to, when we visualize, we bring all those real tones to reality. I'm gonna tell you something right now. When I was manifesting someone back into my life, I brought all the real tones of reality. I felt that person on top of me, not in a sexual way, so please don't know. I felt the real tones. I felt how she would smell, like her scent, her, like how she would just, her body would be close to mine, all of these things. And you can do that. We have the power to do that. And of course, the mind is going to believe that it is real. So what you imagine and what you're assuming is true. Don't allow someone to tell you that it's not, baby. Live as though. And when he talks about living as though, I don't think Neville said, for example, majority of people will go out and actually buy a fucking wedding dress or a suit and say, Bitch, I'm married or something. I mean, okay, do what you do. I don't give a damn. That's you. I don't give a damn. That's you. If you want to go ahead and buy your wedding cake, let that shit ride. That's you. But Neville did say, if you want to, for example, if you want to be married, he says, don't go out and buy a ring, but feel how a ring would feel on your finger. Feel how it would feel. Bring the tone of reality. Bring the feeling, like he was talking about the lemon, the baseball, and feeling it and actually being able to, and I actually did that, and I actually smelled the lemon. Like I could really smell it. So what I'm saying is we have the power to assume things. If you're assuming something so negative, then you have the power to change it. Don't think that your current circumstances that are around you are not going to be where you're not going to be able to change change your reality. This is only temporary. And stop listening to when people say ignore your 3D. I don't believe you can't ignore what's right in front of you, but what you can say is that I accept the temporary circumstances as of this moment, but this does not mean that it will be forever, because nothing lasts forever. It doesn't. So your 3D experiences, the things that we experience in our everyday lives, is not going to last. It's not. It's not. It may look like that, but you have the ability to change these things. And then rearranging the structure of our mind. For 7 days, I spent the time of exercising physically, exercising my mind mentally, scripting, affirming, and using these affirmations. And I started to see certain things reflect back to me. And one thing I noticed was that certain things that people would say, the old Alizé would allow certain things. Like when I told you guys that I get upset quickly, I learned that when I started to really journal more and get more in touch with who I am and start to restructure my mind, which I'm still improving on because there's more work to be done, and not look at the current circumstances that are around me, but say, okay, these are temporary things. Or when people say certain things or they do certain things, whatever the case may be, I'm not allowing that to get to me, because that's not the reality I've chosen. I've been scripting out a whole new reality of what I see and what I visualize and the kind of woman that I see myself as. So what I'm saying to you is, when you start to live in that and you start to really feel like, damn, I am confident, damn, this is who I am. I affirm I am in a happy, loving, committed relationship. I have my YouTube channel. I'm fully monetized. All of these things that I'm saying to myself, I start to actually, don't you think for time, the more I say it, the more I script it, don't you think that I'm going to believe it and start to live as though it were true? Of course, because that's what I'm doing. I'm living from that. I'm living from the end. It doesn't mean that you have to sit up here and do all these extra things, but it just means that you assume something, you persist, and it shall harden into fact. Now, going back into imagination as God. Your imagination is powerful, baby. Your imagination is powerful. Don't you see children? They're so loving and carefree because they're beautiful, they're beautiful souls. Children, they're so free. And that's why we have to return to that childlike energy, because that children manifest. Being able to return to that childlike energy and get more in touch with ourselves. And feel free. Don't obsess over your manifestation. Don't worry about when the shit'll come. It doesn't matter. Goddard said that is not up to you. It doesn't matter when it comes. It doesn't matter when that time. No. But it's going to manifest. Right? So that's something that we should believe in. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and share, and do what the hell you want. I really don't give a damn. But I love you. You guys are amazing. And like I said, I will be coming with more videos, talking about going more deeper into the topic. And, like I said, this was all just me, like, really my perspective on what I thought about it and the research that I done. So, like I said, I'm going to be breaking things down more and really getting more involved in the law of assumption. And it's a lot to research, so I'm going to let you guys know that's what it is. I do want to let you also know that I will be showing you a journal that a friend of mine is sending me. It is a law of attraction journal, but it is law of assumption based. And I am looking forward to that, and I will let you guys know, and we're going to go ahead and get into that. I will also be dropping a video this week showing you my scripting and sharing with you the things that I am scripting out into my reality. I may just do that. All right, like I said, you guys are powerful manifestors. Remember, don't listen to the naysayers, and remember that you are the god and the goddess of your reality. Peace. Yeah. Legend Z. It's time to let you go. Why keep holding on? It's been a month, baby. Your true color shown. I'm not mad and no longer will I hide. I just gotta move forward, push the shit to the side.